So if we did a chemical footprint of your room or your apartment or your condo, and we showed you how hazardous that apartment is, you'll be shocked. But because you don't know what chemicals you're using, you just say chemical A is 2 cents or $2 less than chemical B. I'm going to take chemical A. So you're looking at usually price points versus the health of your apartment, the health of your property.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Lynell Gordon. On today's episode of the Vacation Rental Show, we are thrilled to have Derreck Kayongo, an internationally recognized corporate social entrepreneur. He has over 17 years of experience in human rights, food security, education, and economic development. As the executive director of Clean Production Action, he focuses on promoting safer chemicals and a sustainable green economy. Derreck's deep understanding of the intersection between hospitality and environmental health, coupled with his entrepreneurial spirit, has led him to develop innovative programs that bridge the gap between business growth and sustainability. And so this makes Derreck a driving force for positive impact in the hospitality and in the non-hospitality sectors. Welcome, Derreck.
Thank you so much, Leah.
I'm so excited today to talk to you. Tell me a little bit about growing up. I don't think you were born in the U.S. Tell me a little bit about you as a child. What happened? How were you shaped there that made you what you are?
First of all, Lynn, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys for having me on this wonderful, wonderful show. I feel like I'm going on vacation right now, just thinking about this. And the second thing is you assume that I'm grown. So I'm still young at heart and still cheeky and playful. I'm very juvenile. So yeah, at least if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be playful and you have to be really, really open-minded and capacious. But growing up, my goodness, I'm originally Ugandan, Lynn. It's a little small country out of East Africa, nestled between the Great Sudan, the Great Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, the beautiful Kenya, and below it is Tanzania. So we are part of the Rift Valley. It's a remarkable, remarkable place. We are the source of the Nile. And I tease all the time that the Ethiopians also think they're the source of the Nile, but they're not on the show today, so we will claim it.
You know, I had a pen pal growing up, and they were in Uganda when I was a little girl. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. I was born in a little town, our capital city called Kampala, and I live on the King's Land, and enjoyed that whole country very much. And then I had a beautiful growth because my mother and father were both teachers and then became entrepreneurs. And out of that, my mother became a wedding gown seamstress. If you ever see me in real life, you will know why I'm so decked out all the time. So I'm very comfortable with my pinks and yellows and all that stuff. So she didn't have a mannequin for flower gown dresses, so I became the mannequin.
I love that.
So, I grew up around fashion, and I grew up around entrepreneurship, and I grew up around educators. But I also then grew up around war. I'm a child of war. And so I am joyous about life in a very interesting way that I experienced beautiful life in the first 10 years of my life. And then I experienced being a refugee in the second part of my life. So I'm very appreciative. I'm very, very appreciative to life and to be here. And of course, then got a chance to come to the States. And I've enjoyed being in the States. It's a land of miracles and a land of many recreations. Everybody in the States is a recreation of something they were before. So I'm looking at avatars everywhere I go in the States, which is fantastic. Avatars of success. So that's a little bit about me.
So let me ask you this. You have a lot of nonprofit work that you do, or is most of the work that you do for profit?
My whole work has always been around nonprofits. And it's just the way I'm built. I'm not a big, let's go make $1 billion kind of guy. And You know, I'm the kind of guy that wants to know, why is the village suffering? Because I believe that it takes a village to raise a child. Um, and if the village is not healthy, the child is not healthy. If that is a metaphor for how we live in this world, the whole world is a village. And a lot of our children, as human beings in a human agenda, are suffering. And so I concern myself with that particular thing. In fact, there's a great poet in Africa called Chinua Achebe, who wrote a famous book called When Things Fall Apart, the Center Cannot Hold. So I want to be part of that, making sure that the center holds. So I've always been in the nonprofit world.
So I know, and we don't have to touch a lot on this because you're going to talk about this at the conference, but let's give them a little preview. You're a big proponent of don't waste, like waste not, want not, right?
Waste, I mean, let's be honest, we all waste stuff, and every now and then I will not finish my meal and throw it into the garbage. But there's waste and then there is waste. So as an African coming into the Western world, and there's no pun intended, Western versus the waste, I ran into this whole notion of the incredible waste that I saw when I went in college. We'd go into the cafeteria and there was this incredible layout of food. And I was like, wow, from 6 ice creams to salads and to this and that. I said, my God, I love this country. This is fantastic. But then in that love, then I realized that we did eat all the food and that at least 50% of the food was thrown away. And I said, oh, wow. And then that's when I ran into this idea of hotels throwing away soap. One use of soap, one day of use and you leave, they threw that away because, you just opened it and they're not going to give it to the next person to use.
Right.
But the natural thing is to throw it away. So the question is, how much were they thrown away? And what does that represent to the environment? What does that represent to everything the supply chain? And it turned out the hotels back in the day threw away about 800 million bars of soap every year.
Wow, that's a lot. Because you think about it, there's 2 in each room. There's at least one in the bathroom. I mean, in the shower area or the bathtub area, and then there's one by the sink. So there are 2.
There are 3.
There are 3. Where's the third?
Yeah, so I will name them for you. There's the body washing soap, the facial soap. Yeah, okay. They give you facial soap, and then they give you the hand washing soap.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, come on, man. Stop it. Come on, man. Soap is soap. Come on, don't even get me started. So I said, this Americans trying to be bougie, man. This is Americans being bougie.
For sure, bougie. Not a question.
Because in my country, you just use one bar of soap for everything. You don't say, hey, that's your bath soap. Don't use it on your face. What? Come on, man. So I said, I'm going to have to recycle this stuff because these guys are being too bougie for me. So yeah, I'm big on waste. I'm one of those people, Lynn, that doesn't go to identify a problem and say, oh, how wasteful Americans are or the West is. Because that's not how America is built. America is built on you seeing the problem and solve it. If you can, solve it. So that's what I am.
I love that. And I think about the fact that we have property managers who manage anywhere from, 25 to thousands of properties. And that if we made a change, just a little change, it could affect an enormous amount because of the amount of properties that we have as property managers in the United States and overseas. So what types of changes do you think that people need to make?
For the property managers, I'll address them directly. My current work as the executive director of Clean Production Action is to look at us finding a way to substitute these hazardous chemicals that we have ubiquitously involved in our lives. So, for example, with the hotels or with the property management, the property that you have, you use chemicals to clean the property. Now, most of us don't know what chemicals are in what chemistry is in those particular chemicals. So you don't know what you're using to clean your room. So if we did a chemical footprint of your room or your apartment or your condo, and we showed you how hazardous that apartment is, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. But because you don't know what chemicals you're using, You just say, hey, chemical A is 2 cents or $2 less than chemical B. I'm going to take chemical A. So you're looking at usually price points versus the health of your apartment, the health of your property. So that when I come in as a customer, as a client, and I'm susceptible to particular conditions that I have, that you may exacerbate my health condition because of the chemical you use to clean the room.
Wow.
Also, yeah, so that's a very big deal. That's a very big deal. And we don't pay attention to that because we just want everything to be washed and cleaned and sanitized. But be careful what chemical you use. In fact, I dare to tell you that if you are able to do a chemical footprint of your property, and you told your clients that our apartment or our property is so environmentally safe and chemically safe that it is graded at the platinum level, you'd get more traffic because there's a lot of people who are vulnerable to bad hazardous chemicals and they don't know that they're. But we're now smart enough to know these things. So the periodic table is being redefined by asset chemical clean production action. We are reinventing the idea of how we look at chemicals, and we're building new chemicals to replace the old chemicals. So that's what I'm really concerned about. That's what I really care about. In the next 50 to 100 years, I think you won't have to worry about hazardous chemicals because we are thinking hard about this.
You actually have the job of convincing investors as the executive director of the Clean Production Action to buy into sustainable chemistry. And so how do you suggest that property managers, how can we get our homeowners to buy into having a reduction in their chemical footprint or to avoid potential liabilities? How can we do that?
Then it begins with, first of all, you as a person, as an individual. Some of these things are not something that you can just walk in and change. We want to change your heart first and your ability to be a human being that cares about these things. People just don't care about stuff. And I could give you a solution right now, but if you don't care about stuff, you won't take the solution, even though it's healthy for you. So let's begin right there, that if a property manager did what the Hilton Corporation did for me, when I say to the Hilton Corporation, I want to recycle your dirty soap, your yucky soap. They didn't say, oh, Derreck, we have to talk about legal, we have to talk about this. No, they said, you know what? We've always struggled with that waste. Come and talk to us about it. So we had the conversation around it. So the first thing somebody could do is call me at Clean Production Action and say, Derreck, can you help us mark out the chemical footprint of our properties and tell us what is the property hazardous material that we have on board? And then once we do that chemical footprint for you, then we can make a recommendation which chemicals you should use. In fact, we have a lot of companies that work with. We have Ecolab is part of our group that works with us. We recommend the right chemicals to use in your property. And what that does really is to be cognizant of people's health. That's the same thing we tell people: eat right, eat this, don't eat that, don't do, small disease. Why are we concerned about smog? Why are we concerned about fat? And why are we concerned about all these things? Because we want you to be healthy. We want you to have healthy children. So chemicals are very, very important. The whole world is a big bus of chemical. But there's some, and this is my concluding point on this. The world is made out of chemicals, but those are natural to the world. Okay? Mother Earth created those chemicals. So it's easy for Mother Earth to digest those chemicals because it created them. But human beings got involved, Lynn, and we made our own chemicals that are synthetic, like plastic. That is not organically made by Mother Earth. We created it. So guess what? When you throw plastic outside, it is not going to go anywhere for years. You know why? Because Mother Earth did not create it. But we can mimic, in chemistry, we can mimic those particular molecules, those particular atoms, and make something that Mother Earth will recognize and actually recycle. So there's something about you being a property manager that has a lot to do with the environment and sustainability, and you being an ethically moral company or corporation or homeowner because you're creating chemicals. I mean, you're supporting a cleanliness that has not just got to do with everything being clean, but being able to have chemicals in the room that are humanly friendly. That's the point of this whole thing. So I moved from soap recycling from hotels to now making sure they have the right chemicals in the hotel room. So that's a beautiful thing.
What trends do you see that are emerging in the hospitality industry that property managers should be aware of, particularly in terms of like sustainability and, eco-conscious travel kind of things?
Yeah, I think one of the things is the age of the new humans, the Gen Z, the Gen X's, and what their view is on travel and the value for them being home more. They are not going to offices anymore as much as they used to. They now can go to your property in Hilton Head and spend the whole month there in your property while they work. So the vacation rental space has become so vogue because we now all can go and work. You can go work in Japan and live in a property. So what does that mean? That means that you have to now be more cautious on what you deliver and what you promise and what you offer for somebody who works from home, per se, or from your apartment or from your condo, So making those more homely and more balancing homeliness and official duty sort of businessness is what we're seeing merging right now. In other words, you can have a property that lends itself to a room. You can have a room that you can say that's an office space that you can use if you work from home. And it mimics an office space. It has a little library behind kind of thing. So the fashion, the design of the room, so that when I'm looking at booking your property, I can say, oh, wow, Lynn has a little office that I can use for my working from home thing. So those are some of the trends we're saying is the margin of, yes, I'm going to work from home. I'm going to be in my property, Hilton Head, and feel so nestled and feel comfy. But if I need to take a Zoom call, I can go to the other room and it looks very official. So that's the blend that I'm seeing.
If you could share one piece of advice with property managers looking to make their businesses more sustainable, what would that be?
I think that for me right now is how would they market. Marketing is very, very important. The marketing has shifted. It's not enough to say, my room, I have 2 bedrooms, I have Wi-Fi, I have a coffee pot and that kind of thing. But it's also very important to let people know what's around that particular property. Some of the things based on you figuring out who they are. In other words, when they're telling you who they are, if I'm coming to rent your space, ask some much more relevant questions. For example, what's your profession? What do you do? If somebody's an attorney or if somebody's interested in gym work and that kind of thing, and you tell them, oh, because you love working out, there's 3 gyms around. And by the way, I'm a friend of all the 3 gyms, and you get 20% off of every gym that you go to. That's what I'm going to that place, So that is marketing. Or you can have, if somebody likes coffee, be much more detailed. Guess what? I have Starbucks, I have Caribou Coffee, I have all the other little homegrown coffee stores around. But I love this little mom and pop little store. If you go there for your coffee and your bagel, they give you 20% off. Those are some of the things that I'm seeing as would be the next trend, rather than just saying, I have an apartment, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and Wi-Fi. How are you doing? Well, everybody does.
Well, let me ask you this. When you are not busy changing the world with your social entrepreneurship efforts that you have, what do you do in your free time?
Oh, my goodness. I love to write a lot. Writing 2 books right now. I just finished 1 book right now, and it's a beautiful expedition. On the title of the book is the spice that changed the world. Can you guess what spice that is?
Is it salt is it salt or pepper?
Oh, you're almost there with pepper. You almost got there. You almost got there. It's that one spice
that really changed the world.
Changed the world.
The spice that changed the world. Let me think about that. I would think it would be something very simple from Asia. Tell me what it is.
Very good. Curry powder.
Ah, yes.
Yes. And it looks at the way curry became this very, very important spice. It's a medicine that can address several problems within your body, and that's how the Indian community builds that. It is an amalgam of several spices that go into your body and do magic. And it was discovered by the Europeans, and that's one of the reasons why the Europeans came from Europe to go to India looking for spices, and they run into curry. And then curry travels all the way from India to the rest of the Asia, to Japan, to China, to Taiwan, and it starts to take on different colors and different formats, and it comes to Africa and runs into, oh my goodness, slavery, and it goes, oh my God, it runs away and goes to South Africa, runs into apartheid, oh my God, it goes all the way to the Caribbean. So it's the journey of spice, this beautiful spice that ends up in, guess where? In the Prime Minister's office in London, because Sumit is Indian, of Indian descent, and he became the Prime Minister of India, of England. And guess what he served for lunch when he was being inaugurated? A spicy curry meal. And then it ends up in the US,
I love
right
sweet
now
spicy. The sweet curry is my favorite.
God.
I grew up with curry. My dad he was in the military and he traveled all over. And I mean, we grew up with curry. We grew up with spices like that. So I absolutely love those. I still love curries, but I like the yellow sweet curries. And
that is a mark of trouble. And those of you who vacation, those of you who've written to property, that kind of thing, this is right down your alley, that when you travel, you see, when you see, you learn, and when you learn, you inhabit this world that we call Earth beautifully. So it's a beautiful book. So I love to write that. I love to.
What if 3 days could change the way you do business? Streamline Summit 2025, Soar, is your best chance to break through the limits, sharpen your strategy, and connect with the best in the vacation rental industry. Start by visiting streamlinesummit.com. From September 16th through the 18th at the Hyatt Regency Jacksonville Riverfront, you'll gain insights, tools, and partnerships that will take your business to the next level. Here's what's in store. On day one, kick things off with one-on-one meetings and a high-energy opening cocktail party. September 17th and 18th, we dive into expert-led sessions, cutting-edge strategies, and industry networking that will fuel your success. On the last night, we'll wrap it up with a closing party because big ideas deserve a big celebration. The vacation rental industry is soaring to new heights, and this is your chance to rise with it. Don't stay grounded. Visit StreamlineSummit.com and grab your ticket today. Have you met anyone from the Streamline team yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to do that. They're, in hospitality, we have the nicest people. Because that's what they do, is they're nice to people all day long. And I love the fact that that when we have our conferences, like are coming up in this fall, the Streamline Conference, we have such a good time. It is like the best party ever of the year. With the nicest people. You're gonna really enjoy the people there. I think it's just so much fun.
Really yeah. So apart from writing, I travel a lot which is why I'm gonna be with the rental and vacation in this next speech that I'm gonna offer you guys. But I've lived in Japan, I've lived in Australia, I've lived in England, I've lived in Canada, I've lived in Africa, I've lived everywhere, and all around kind of human being. But we have a saying in my mother tongue that traveling is seeing is knowing. Before you taste your neighbor's food, you may think your mama is the best cook. So you need to travel. So I love to travel.
Tell me, where's some of your favorite places to travel?
One of the countries that has really surprised me, I've been all over the world, but the US is really beautiful. America is really, really beautiful. Have you been to the Grand Canyon? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Culture-wise, have you been to New Orleans? My God, New Orleans, the food, the jazz, just unbelievable stuff. Then you go to Napa Valley. What? With the vineyard and the redwood trees, these gigantic trees. And then as if you think you're done with it, you end up in Vermont. Wow. And then Sassy, Miami. Good God.
Have you been to
Where
Washington State and the rainforest
Yes,
there?
yes,
I just
yes,
think
yes,
when
yes,
I think
yes.
about the prettiest places in the world, a lot of them are here. I agree.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
love the U.S. I travel a lot. We do
yeah,
state parks in my family. So,
yeah, yeah,
we do state park trips and we just love it. I think some of the most beautiful places in the world are here in the U.S. They really
yeah,
are.
yeah. People forget about the US and they love Europe because of its history and the Gothic, all the wonderful beauty, which is fine. But Europe is small. And I think once you've seen Paris, you've seen Prague. Once you've seen Prague, it's like the joke my friend told me.
Except for
I told him,
Hungary. Budapest is incredible. Just saying.
oh my God. Yeah.
I love Budapest. I think
Like,
it's pretty
yeah,
pretty.
yeah, yeah. But then, I think if you've been to South Dakota, you don't have to go to North Dakota. You're being redundant at that point. But
Oh, during
fantastic.
sunflower season, you have to go to the
Yes.
Dakotas during sunflower season.
Yeah.
There's nothing more beautiful than stretched out in front of you, 80 miles,
Yes.
flat and you can see everything are the beautiful sunflowers and then the Black Hills.
Absolutely.
Oh, I know. U.S.
Absolutely.
is so gorgeous.
And then the one thing I like about traveling in the US is service. We take that for granted because Americans will not stand for poor service.
It's true.
Chop
It's
chop, my
true.
friend, chop chop.
It's true.
So I enjoy coming back to stick. And when I say wake me up at 6, they actually wake you up at 6 at
That's
the
true.
hotel or at the thing, and the coffee is ready. Come on, there's some places I've been to and it's not chop chop like that. So come on. I love the US in travel.
The U.S. is awesome to travel in. It is.
Oh,
I
yes.
think
Yes.
I had to go to, I think Utah. Like I went
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 times a year until I got tired of going to the same place, but I just never felt like I got enough of it.
Yeah.
I
Park
think
City
Utah's
and
just
yeah.
Yellowstone. I've been to
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone
Yes.
3 times, 4 times.
Yes. Yes.
Actually, I've
Yes.
been more now that I think about it. I've been to
Yeah.
Yellowstone. I don't know. I never get tired of Yellowstone. I don't get tired of that.
Yeah. The country is wealthy in its design and its formation. Alaska? Are you kidding me? Come on. Alaska is fantastic. The whales and oh, good God, the serenity and the quiet and
And California, the coast of California.
yeah,
I mean, it's like
yeah,
you're in another world. It's so beautiful there. It's just unbelievably beautiful on the coast there. And Oregon, I mean, I just think about all the wonderful places that I've visited. And when you go, like you were talking about New England, it's just stunning
yes.
there. And yeah, so
It's a young country with a lot of pizzazz and vivaciousness. It's only we're going to be 250 years old or something like that. Very young country, but a lot of achievements, a lot of amazing things, a lot of stories, gumption stories, that have led it to become the most important country of our era. With that comes this incredible development and stories that just make you want to cry. So from Philadelphia to to Austin, Texas, we're looking good. You're looking
no
good, babe.
kidding. The food is really good too and diverse in the U.S. I think
Yeah.
that we had decided, actually my sister had decided that
Yeah.
we had been taking international trips and she's like, we're only going to go we're just going to stay in the U.S. because we just haven't seen everything.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think we take it for granted what it is to sleep peacefully at night.
Yeah, there's a romanticism about going to Australia, and going to Tokyo and going to Berlin. And this is fantastic. So that's number one. But I think the second most impressive place for me to travel is Africa. Going on a safari, Lynn, is the most amazing thing you'll ever experience.
So my
going to the
family
Rift
tells
Valley.
me. I'm
Yeah.
not brave enough to do that. I have a sweet friend who invited me and I almost pulled the trigger on it and I had something come up and I couldn't go on the safari. But my stepfather's from South Africa. And so I had been invited many times. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, I zoo is close enough for me. I'm just saying. I don't know that I want to see a lion out in the wild killing something. A
Oh my
giraffe I would
goodness.
want to see, but
Oh, you're being very, very,
scared.
very
I know,
gentle.
I'm such a
You're
weenie.
scared.
I admit it. I'm a weenie. It's true. Anytime we go to like we've gone to these safari parks and I like to see
Yes,
the rhinoceroses and the hippos and they're so
yes,
pretty. And
yes.
then I realize how dangerous these animals are. They're some of the most dangerous animals in the world. And I'm like, why am I here like in a car and there's no fence around this? So I'm not brave enough. I'm just not. I'm brave enough to
Yeah,
travel
I'm
all over
telling you.
Europe by myself and all over the world. I mean, I've been to Japan, I've been to Asia, I've been to Korea, I've been, I haven't been to New Zealand and I want to go there. And I haven't been to
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah. I want to tell you that there's something about Africa for a human being that once you land there, you connect to it for some reason. There's something so authentically true to humanity and to life in Africa because of how it has sort of stayed behind. Everybody's advanced and they have elevators, they have electricity, they have water. And for some reason, yes, in our staying behind, there's a beauty that we have preserved in that innocence that allows a lion to be a lion, a giraffe to be a giraffe. And in a way, when you land there, Africa allows you to be who you are as in your natural state and with no judgment and with no obfuscation, that you can be this incredibly powerful human being and experience life at its core. Just experience fresh air in its core and eat real food at its core. And to see the origins of humanity is just an incredible thing. The civilizations are so old. They're amazing. So to see that civilization, to see that age, to see that calmness and the genteel, that forest that is unperturbed and unruined is just magical. So I just came back from Africa in October last year, and I literally told my father I need to go to the World Park and be with the animals because they speak truth, and they will speak truth to me. And I spent at least 4 days there and just hung out with the elephants, and they just gently walk around and just the best meditation ever. So yeah, try it, Lynn. Try it. Try home. Try home.
Someone will have to give me some bravery to be able to do that. I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of those animals. I'm sorry. It's just I'd rather be sitting somewhere and just looking at beautiful scenery. That's just me. Let me ask you this. You have led various global initiatives yourself. What
Yes.
has been one of your proudest accomplishments in the field of social entrepreneurship?
I think that it's very hard, Lynn, to come from another culture into a new culture, especially if the culture you're coming from is a little bit smaller. And you land in the US, which is a big culture, a hodgepodge, and to find the ability to sort of quiet down the noise and identify a calling that becomes this legacy calling that is going to change the world around you and perhaps even the world as you know it. And I think that I could literally say that when I identified soap as a waste by the hotels and started to think about how do you recycle soap? How do you even build a board? How do you get capital to build a fast factory? How do you convince hotels to trust you to recycle that soap? How do you sell this idea of reused soap to the rest of the world? And you master yourself and master everything within you to actually build an enterprise that actually recycles that soap. And you end up on CNN Heroes as a hero because you did not intend to be a hero, but then everybody thinks you did something magical. And then you end up in your product, the soap that you just recycled, ends up in a school in Malawi or in Liberia. And you see young girls bathing with the soap that you brought, and that soap smells so beautiful. It's lavenders and it's, Bulgaris, because the hotel that donated the soap to you is a boutique hotel in New York that uses very high-end soap. And this kid in Malawi or in Liberia or in South India has never lathered herself with such perfumed soap. And she's giggling and smelling so beautiful. And the boys are making fun of her, going, "Oh, wow, you smell good, girl." That is amazing. That is a gift that the gods give me to be able to give back to the universe. And so that is the most important and impressive work I've ever done, is to be able to convince hotels to recycle the soap, and for me to be able to convince Americans to support it, and for the Europeans to support it, Asia to support it. And now we're at a place where hotels don't waste soap as much as they used to, which is fantastic.
Yes, it is. I mean, it has changed the world. I think that everyone hopes that what they do on this earth before they go will make a difference. And we do, especially in our homes with our families. I said something to one of my employees once. I said to them, it doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter your position. There is no one that's not replaceable. Everyone is replaceable.
Correct.
You are not irreplaceable.
Correct.
No matter what you may think, no matter how important
Yes.
your job is. And
Yes.
it made a real significant impact on his life. So the reason I say is he mentioned that like 2 days ago to me. He was like, I had never thought about that. I'm friends with people that were my employees from years and years and years ago, which is such a blessing to have, friendships here that last that long. But he said, you're right. There's no one irreplaceable. And I hadn't thought about that. So I think with us,
Correct.
You did something that was such a blessing. And even though we're not irreplaceable, we are unique. And
Correct.
there's no one else like us, each of us
Correct.
individually. So I think that it's such a blessing that God brought you at the right time, in the right place, to do the right job, so that those young girls could enjoy that perfumed soap that we take for granted every time we wash our hands.
Yes. You raise a very important point, and that's where one of the things I'll be talking about is this acronym that I came up called SELF, that everything begins with you. When you remove self from the picture, nothing happens. Nothing happens. And that acronym, S is for service, and I'll talk more about that, how you as a human being serving can be very important, not just for the people you serve, but for you. Every time I welcome a guest in my home and prepare a meal and serve them, and we have this beautiful conversation, I feel good. In serving, I think you get that E. You get educated on people's needs. You get educated on your weaknesses, the things you need to improve on as a person. And when you do the service and education, it's easy then to become a leader, which is the L. That leaders who have never served, who are not educated on people's conditionalities and people's sufferings and people's strength, are arrogant. They can be dispossessive, and they can be dismissing just because they have a pedigree of title. Your title doesn't mean you're better than anybody. A leader has to understand that his or her role is to create vision and create the pathway for everybody else to articulate their abilities. And then F is for faith, that I do have faith in everything around me, people around me, God. I have faith in my children. I have faith in the existence of Derreck, that I wake up tomorrow, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to use that day faithfully. If you have no belief in anything, if you don't believe in anything, and you're open to everything and anything, you're easy to be manipulated by anything and everything. But having a core belief, a core faith in something, is an amazing thing. So that's how I see what you just talked about, that everybody's replaceable except you. You're unique. You're here. And don't replace yourself by being irrelevant, is what I'm trying to say. Be relevant at all costs.
And be kind.
And be kind. Yes.
Just be kind. I think that the world could use so much more kindness than we have. So, and in hospitality, we have some of the kindest people that exist on the planet. We really do. So I am so grateful to be in this hospitality industry and be able to interview leaders like yourself who care enough to not stand by when you see a change that can make a difference in lives. That's a real blessing. And I can't wait to hear you speak. I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. And I hope you're bringing, do you have a book? Do you have books that you've written?
Yes, I have one that is coming out. Hopefully to be out. The one we just talked about, the one on career and traveling and the opportunities that career presents as an opportunity to see the whole world. So career, you're going to see the whole world through the eyes of career. So hopefully that will be done.
I love that. I was thinking, we were studying Solomon, I guess, last year, and we got into thoughts about what spices that he would have had access to. I'm a big kitchen person. I love to cook. I love food.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the types of spices that he would have had access to. So all those peppers that come from Asia probably, I don't, I'm sure those are life-changing. If you don't believe it, go sit down at an Indian restaurant and ask for something spicy. It'll be life-changing. It was life-changing to me. Well, thank you so much for coming to share. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the property managers that listen to the show?
Yeah, one of the things that humbled me in doing my work is the people that are responsible for keeping our properties clean and proper to welcome our guests. And the housekeepers are my heroes and sheroes. If you actually think about them, they're people from faraway lands for the most part. Very humble, and they come from very humble backgrounds. And they take a lot of time in your room preparing for you. So I will give this space in honor of all the housekeepers, all the people that clean those homes and those properties and make that place a lovely place. So they're my heroes and my sheroes. So I'll dedicate my speech to all the housekeepers in the world.
That's how I made my way through college. I did house cleaning on for vacation rentals in the summer. That's what I did to get through school. It helped me. It's a very good paying job at the beach, that type of work, especially when you go to places like North Carolina where they have this turnover. You turn over, thousands of houses on the beaches, in one day. And so, I love cleaning houses. I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't want to clean my own house though, but I do. But you're right. You're right. They are heroes, and they certainly deserve our thoughts and our gratefulness for all that they do to make us comfortable. I love the people that clean our house. I love to go in and meet them. I have a vacation rental, and I love going in and meeting them and talking to them and getting their thoughts on the house. Yeah. Because look, they have a unique perspective on your house that you don't have as a homeowner. They're the one cleaning it every weekend, unless I have friends who clean their own homes on turnover day. But for the most part, if you are the person doing the cleaning, you should reach out and listen to what they have to say if you're a homeowner.
Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate the so-called small people. They're important.
No, they are. Small people all over are. Well, thank you so much, Derreck, for talking to me and being so kind to change the date on a moment. Yeah. When you when I reached out to you and you immediately did it, because they were like, Lynell, will you do this? And I'm like, yes, I will do it. I will do it personally right now. And you just immediately answered back and fixed it. I was like, how sweet. That is so nice. And I knew immediately that you would be a very humble leader and a kind person. Based on the way that you reacted to that. So thank you so much for your kindness and
thank you
to me in that.
Yeah, you're very kind. And please say hello to your wonderful partner.
I will. I tell you, I love our group. Thank you again, Derreck. God
Yeah.
bless. We
Take care.
will
Take care. God bless.
see you soon at Summit.
Yeah. Yeah. Very soon.
All
Very
right.
soon.
See you there.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
3 days. Game-changing insights. Unlimited possibilities. Streamline Summit 2025 Soar is where the future of vacation rental management takes flight. Secure your spot, sharpen your strategy, and connect with the best in the business. Visit streamlinesummit.com and register today. The industry is soaring. Will you rise with it?